The Rules Committee will come to order. We are here to follow what is known famously as a bipartisan tradition. The bipartisan tradition is that if a measure is considered on the House floor under suspension of the rules and fails to get the 290 votes necessary, the Rules Committee convenes and a closed rule is reported out for consideration of the measure. And that's exactly why we are here. This is for the need to extend the expiring provisions of the USA Patriot Act. And last year, on the 25th of February, we had a vote on the House floor on a one-year extension of the act, and it passed by a vote of 315 to 97. And this year, we had the vote and did not quite get to the 290 level that we needed. This is not a one-year extension. This is a 10-month extension of the Patriot Act that is identical to the measure that had 315 votes in the 111th Congress. And so the chair will be in receipt of a motion from my good friend from Utah.
You're going to make me pay for this, aren't you, sir? Yeah. Mr. Chairman, I move the committee grant a closed rule for consideration of H.R. 514. The rule provides that the bill should be considered as read. The rule waives all points of order against consideration of the bill. The rule waives all points of order against provisions in the bill. The rule provides 1 hour of debate with 40 minutes equally divided and controlled by the chair, ranking minority member of the Committee on the Judiciary, and 20 minutes equally divided and controlled by the chair and the ranking minority member of the Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. And finally, the rule provides for one motion to recommit.
You've heard the motion of the gentleman. Any discussion or amendment? Mrs. Slaughter.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. We don't need it. I was one of the persons who voted yes last year, but I've been very much concerned about sort of the FBI going south on us. Serious troubles with the FBI. I don't care for roving wiretaps. I'm very concerned about that. Invasions of privacy, and I think the business, they can search anybody's records just simply by certifying that they think they want to do it. So I feel that that's far more draconian, but let me just talk about rules for a minute, because I'm obliged to do this, Mr. Pryor.
Absolutely.
You understand?
I know how it's done.
Right, so I'm going to ask
I've
for
been to that
an open
rodeo
rule.
before, an open rule.
We're passing the fourth closed rule today. And we have not had a single open rule, and we haven't considered a single bill, gone through regular order in committee. So we were very encouraged, and certainly, and I expected that you know, knowing how you felt about this, that we would have done better by now. So what we're saying is that we hope that before the spring thaw happens in Rochester, New York, which comes around June sometime,
So we got plenty of time.
Oh, you've got plenty of time, and we will remind
How about this
you
Friday?
every time we meet.
How about this Friday when we, for the first time in the history of the Republic, consider the continuing resolution?
On that?
Excuse me?
Do you know, will there be
Yeah.
a pre-printing requirement at all?
It's looking that way. So it'd
But
make
there
it
will be
it'd make it a modified open rule. By my
Yes, it
definition, it'd
will.
be an open rule. By your definition,
No, it's modified.
By your definition,
modified.
it'd be an open rule.
There's a modification.
By the definition of the 111th Congress, it would have been an open rule. But
People from New York will tell you right now, but that's modified.
yeah, well, I'll tell you it's modified too. But I just know that we're in the 112th Congress, not the 111th Congress. Is the one thing that we know very well. You've heard the.
Well, I haven't made a motion.
Yeah, you did. I thought you did. You
Well,
moved
I
for an
want
open
to.
rule.
Mr. Chairman,
for
I
an
have an
open rule.
amendment to the rule.
Yeah, you said you wanted an open rule.
I want to move that the committee grant, well, we have to do this correctly.
Yeah, well, you read it.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
I
You said you
moved the
moved for an
committee
open
grant H.R. 514.
Well, you didn't say the bill
open
number.
rule.
Okay, good. Thank you very much, Madam Chair. You've heard the motion of the gentlewoman. Any discussion? If not, the vote occurs in the slaughter amendment. Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. Between the chair, the noes have it. The noes have it. The motion is not agreed to. Are there further amendments? Mr. Pullis. Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Sessions, Ms. Fox, Mr. Bishop. They would have voted if they had been here.
Right.
That's modified and a half.
Right.
Mr. Woodall.
Yeah.
Mr. Nugent. Mr. Scott. Mr. Webster. Ms. Slaughter.
No. Sorry.
Good. Yes, yes, yes.
Mr. Hastings. Mr. Polley. Mr. Polley.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman.
no. Clerk will report the total. And the motion is not agreed to. Are there further amendments? Mr. Polis, do you have an amendment?
Discussion?
Oh, of course. Welcome any discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I request a recorded vote because perhaps the loudness of my own aye drowned out any nays, but I didn't hear any opposition. And I thought that perhaps the ranking member's motion would be made unanimously in order. But that given the case, I just want to express appreciate. I voted against the Patriot Act last time. Voted against it yesterday. I think it's a huge overreach of federal power, and I'm glad to see people on both sides of the aisle that are now increasingly coming to the realization that I think this country can do better by protecting those very values that make us uniquely American, and at the same time protecting the American people. I know that members on both sides of the aisle on this committee oppose the underlying bill, and I'm hopeful that support for the overreach of the Patriot Act will continue to erode to the point where really we can address some of the issues we have with the bill with regard to privacy, with regard to individual liberties. And we may not reach that point tomorrow, but hopefully when it's up in 10 months, we'll show momentum in that direction. And as it goes back to the Committee of Jurisdiction, which will hopefully come through next time around, hopefully they'll be able to address some of those issues. And I'll yield back.
Well, I thank the gentleman for his comments. And let me say I don't take full credit for the fact that we're here, but I will say that right after September 11th, there was an attempt by more than a few of my colleagues to proceed with implementation of the Patriot Act without any kind of expiration. And I believed at that point and fought hard, and I'm happy to say was successful, to ensure that we would continue to have the kind of oversight that is necessary to ensure that the rights about which we are all concerned are adequately addressed. And so for that reason, I'm happy that we are expending time and energy and effort. And again, we had this one-year extension that was put into place that expired at the very beginning of this Congress, and so it's necessary for us to proceed with this extension, which is not like the extension of the past. And I know that over the next several months there will be the kind of oversight and another look at this, which is something I supported from the weeks after September 11th when we were first attacked. So thank you very much for those comments. And the vote occurs on the motion of the gentleman from Utah. Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. Pay the chair. The ayes have it. The ayes have it. Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Sessions. Ms. Fox.
Aye.
Mr. Bishop. Aye. Mr. Woodall. Aye. Mr. Nugent. Aye. Mr. Scott. Aye. Mr. Webster. Ms. Slaughter.
No.
Mr. McGovern. Mr. Hastings. Mr. Polis. No. Mr. Chairman.
Aye, and the motion is agreed. What's the clerk report?
7 yeas, 2 nays.
7 yeas and 2 nays, and the motion is agreed to. And I'll be managing this for the majority. And Mr. Polis for the minority. Well, thank you all very much. We do have, I think, a meeting time set for Friday. 10 o'clock Friday morning, we're going to be meeting on our oversight plan. And then sometime later Friday, we hope, possibly. Yeah, on Friday, we're hoping to meet on the rule that will allow for consideration of the continuing resolution that we're planning to consider next week. So that's the plan right now, and we'll see if we're going to stick to it. Okay, thank you very much. Yes, Mr. Bishop.
Just for the purpose of accuracy of our minutes, not this last vote, but the other vote on the Slaughter Amendment, shouldn't it be more appropriately called instead of a 6-2 vote, a 6.5 to 1.5 vote?
6.5 to 1.5.
Never mind.
Okay.
I'll explain it later.
Okay. Without objection, the committee stands adjourned.